She was hiding in the dark. The old space station floated quietly in orbit. No lights, no signal, no sound. Most people said it was dead. Some said it was haunted. Captain Ryan didn't believe in ghosts. He believed in salvage. He stepped out of his small shuttle, flashlight in hand. The metal floor creaked under his boots. The air was cold still and smelled like rust. He checked his scanner. Nothing. No life signs. Easy job, he muttered. Grab some tech, go home. But something felt off. He walked deeper into the station. Walls were scratched. Old wires hung like spider webs. Some doors were half open, as if someone had left in a hurry. He reached the control room. Screens were dead, panels broken. He opened a box and found some tools, not much but worth something. As he turned to leave, he heard it, a soft sound, like breathing. He froze, held his breath. Again. There it was, a faint inhale, like someone trying not to be heard. He slowly turned his light toward the corner of the room. There, hidden behind a broken console, something moved. His heart jumped. He pointed his light. At first, he saw nothing but shadows. Then, eyes. Big, black, and watching. She stepped into the light slowly. Her skin was pale blue, almost silver. Her arms were thin, her body shaking. Blood, dark and thick, dripped from a wound on her leg. She looked young. Maybe his age. Maybe younger, but she was not human. Alien. Ryan didn't move. He didn't speak. Neither did she. She just stared at him like a wild animal. Scared, but ready to fight. He reached for his sidearm, but stopped. She didn't attack. She didn't even move. She looked tired, weak, hungry. He remembered the ration bar in his pocket. Slowly, carefully, he took it out and placed it on the floor in front of him. Here, he said softly. Food. She blinked once. Then again. She stepped forward, limping, keeping her eyes on him. She picked up the food, sniffed it, and ate, like she hadn't in days. Ryan watched in silence. She didn't speak, didn't thank him, just ate. Then, without a word, she stepped back into the shadows. Gone. Ryan stood there for a moment, confused. Was she a survivor? A prisoner? He didn't know, but she didn't seem dangerous. He left the station quickly, the memory of her eyes still in his mind. That night on his ship, he couldn't sleep. Something about her stuck in his head. Her silence, her hunger, her eyes. Like she was searching for something. He told himself it was nothing. Just a lost alien girl, he said to himself. Not my problem. But far away, in the dark corner of space, the girl was not sleeping. She sat quietly in the cold ruins of the station. Her wound was healing but slow. She held the empty food wrapper in her hand like it was treasure. No one had ever helped her before, not like that. Not without asking for something in return. She didn't understand his words, but she understood his kindness. In her world, that meant only one thing. A life debt. Her kind didn't forget such things. She looked out the broken window, into the stars. She would find him again, and when she did, she would protect him, not like a friend, not like a soldier, but like a dragon guarding its treasure. She found me again. 2 weeks had passed. Captain Ryan had almost forgotten about the alien girl in the ruins. He told no one. Who would believe him? An injured alien hiding in a dead station? And he fed her? No proof, no video, nothing. Just memory. He was back on his cargo ship now, running small jobs between moons. Life was simple, boring, safe, until the strange things started happening. First, it was small, too small to notice at first. His tools began to move when he wasn't looking. Things he was sure he left in one place ended up somewhere else. Then, the door to his ship's cargo bay opened one night. His logs showed no entry. Ryan checked the cams. Nothing. He thought maybe it was the ship's system glitching. It was old after all. Needed repairs. But then, something happened. He couldn't explain. He was sleeping. Middle of the night. Ship lights off. All quiet. A loud crash from the engine room woke him up. He jumped from bed, grabbed his sidearm, and rushed down the corridor. The lights flickered. His heart pounded. The door was open. Inside, something had destroyed one of the fuel containers. Sparks flew from the panel. But more than that, there was blood. Thick, black-blue blood smeared on the wall. His blood? No, not human. It was hers. The alien girl. She had been there, but why? He searched the whole ship, room to room, top to bottom. Nothing. No one. He thought maybe he was going crazy, but the next morning, his questions were answered. He stepped out to repair the broken fuel panel and froze. Right there, sitting on top of his ship, legs folded, eyes closed, was her, the alien girl. Alive. Calm. Watching the stars. She opened her eyes slowly when she heard him, those deep black eyes locked onto his face. She didn't move. Neither did he. She didn't look hurt anymore. In fact, she looked stronger than before. Her skin shimmered in the morning light. Her body was lean, but her muscles looked firm, alert, deadly. She jumped down lightly from the roof, like a cat. Ryan raised his gun. "How the hell did you get on my ship?" he asked. She tilted her head, didn't speak. "What do you want?" No answer. He lowered the gun slowly. She took one step closer, then another. Then finally, she spoke. One word. "Mine." Ryan blinked. "What?" She pointed to him. Again. "Mine." He stared at her, confused. "What does that mean?" She didn't explain. She just turned and walked into the shadows of the ship, disappearing inside. Ryan chased after her, but she was fast. Silent. Already gone. The ship sealed itself. She was inside now. Somehow, she had learned the system. Or maybe. She was always one step ahead. For the next few days, she stayed hidden. She never came out. But Ryan saw signs. Half-eaten rations. Showers used. Clean floors. A new med kit missing. And sometimes, at night, he saw her eyes in the dark, watching. Always watching. She never hurt him. Never attacked. But something about her presence felt powerful, like a wild animal keeping its claws just under the surface. He didn't know what she wanted, but deep inside, a part of him felt safe. Strangely safe until the attack happened. They came out of nowhere. Small black ships, fast and silent. Pirates? No. These were different. No warnings, no messages. They fired first. Lasers hit the side of Ryan's ship. Alarms blared. He tried to take control. He swerved, rolled, dodged one blast, then two more hit. Systems failing, lights turning red. He grabbed the mic. "Unknown vessels, stand down. This is a civilian cargo ship." No reply. They weren't here for cargo. They were here for him. He didn't know why. Didn't have time to ask. One of the enemy ships locked on, ready to fire. Ryan braced for the end, but then something slammed into the enemy ship from above. Blur of silver and speed. Her. The alien girl had launched herself from Ryan's ship like a bullet. No suit, no weapon, just pure rage. She tore through the enemy craft like it was paper. Ripped open the cockpit with her bare hands. The ship exploded. Another enemy fired at her. She dodged midair, flipped, landed on it, and punched through the hull. Ryan watched, stunned, as one alien girl took down 3 armed ships in less than 30 seconds. When it was over, she floated back down. Burn marks on her arms, blood on her hands. She landed on his ship softly, walked up to the cockpit, and looked him in the eye. "Again," she said quietly. "Mine." This time, he understood. She wasn't saying she owned him. She was saying she had claimed him, like a guardian, like a dragon. She speaks. One word only. Captain Ryan couldn't sleep anymore. Since the attack, everything had changed. The alien girl, who still hadn't told him her name, was no longer hiding in the shadows. Now, she walked freely on his ship. Not often, not loud, just there. Always there. Sometimes standing by the door when he woke up. Sometimes sitting near the engine room. Always quiet. Always watching. She didn't eat much. She didn't speak. She didn't explain why she had saved him, or how she was able to fight ships like a weapon. But something inside Ryan told him not to ask too many questions. Some answers were too big. One evening, Ryan sat in the cockpit, checking damage reports. The ship had taken hits. Fuel was leaking. Shields were half dead. He didn't have enough credits for repairs. As he stared at the blinking screen, he felt a presence behind him. He turned. She was there, standing silently, barefoot on the metal floor. Her eyes weren't cold, just unreadable, like she saw more than he ever could. "You okay?" he asked. She tilted her head slightly. No answer. He sighed and looked back at the screen. "You saved me. Thank you. But I don't know why. You don't even know me." Silence. Then, she took a step forward. Her voice was low, like wind through old trees. "You gave," she said. He blinked. "What?" "You gave," she repeated. "They take. You gave." Her words were strange, slow, heavy with meaning. He remembered the first moment they met. The ration bar, the fear in her eyes. No one had given her anything before. "You're talking now," he said. "You understand me?" She nodded. "Barely. What's your name?" Silence. He pointed to himself. "Ryan." She stared at him for a long time. Then she said, "Karen." He smiled slightly. "Karen, is that your name?" She didn't answer. She just sat down on the floor, legs crossed like a warrior at rest. Ryan looked at her carefully now. The way she moved. How still she sat. How her breathing slowed like meditation. She wasn't just strong. She was trained. Deadly. But something about her felt broken, like she had run from something far worse than a battle. Later that night, the power flickered again. Ryan checked the systems. Nothing was wrong, but his ship wasn't alone. Another ship had docked nearby. He hadn't noticed it. It had used some kind of stealth tech, invisible to radar, quiet as space itself. He grabbed his weapon and ran to the viewing bay. Outside, in the black, a figure floated toward them in a spacesuit. Slow. Intentional. Not a pirate. Something else. He heard soft footsteps behind him. Karen was there, still, watching the figure too. He looked at her. "Friend of yours?" Her eyes narrowed. Then, she spoke again, just one word. "Hunters." Ryan's stomach dropped. "They're after you?" he asked. Karen shook her head slowly. "After you." "Me? Why?" She looked at him with something new in her face. Not fear, not sadness. Anger. "You touched me," she said. "You fed. No human should. Forbidden. You break their code." "Whose code?" Karen stood now. Full height. Her silver skin shimmered. Slightly. "The Council. Watchers. They don't want human to care." He didn't understand. "You mean, it's illegal to be kind to you?" She looked away. "Kindness makes bonds. Bonds make loyalty. Loyalty makes chaos." Ryan sat down slowly. His act of giving food had started a war he didn't see coming. The hunter reached the outer door. Alarm rang. Karen turned to him. Her voice now was sharp, clear. "Do not fight." "Why?" "You will die." "And you?" Her eyes glowed faintly. "I will remind them what I am. Before he could answer, she was gone, out the airlock. The fight that followed wasn't a battle. It was a warning. Karen didn't just defeat the hunter. She tore through him like fire through paper. No weapons, no armor, only fists and speed and fury. Ryan watched through the glass. It was beautiful and terrifying. When it was over, she returned. Her arm was bleeding. Her breath was heavy. He ran to help her, but she stopped him with one look. "No," she said. He froze. "They saw me protect you. They will come now. More. Stronger." He swallowed. "So what do we do?" She looked out the window. "You ran from your past," she said. "Yeah, me too. So what now?" She turned back to him. "We stop running." In the silence that followed, Ryan understood something deeply. He had fed a girl in the dark. But what he had truly done was awaken a dragon. Hunted by alien space had never felt this quiet. Ryan's ship floated near a dying moon hidden behind its rocky shadow. The engines were offline. Lights dimmed. He had shut down almost every system to stay invisible, because now they were being hunted, not by pirates, not by criminals, but by something far worse. An elite alien force called the Seekers. They didn't broadcast signals, didn't speak, didn't ask questions. They arrived silently, and they erased everything. Ryan sat in the dark cockpit, eyes fixed on the stars. Every few minutes, he scanned the blackness for movement. His heart beat slow and heavy. Karen stood behind him like a statue. She hadn't slept in days. Her silver skin was scratched. Parts of her armor were burned. Her eyes were colder than ever. "They will find us," she said. "How many?" Ryan asked. 5 ships, maybe more. Not like before. Trained, ready for me." He looked at her. "Can we fight them?" She didn't answer. Instead, she turned and walked toward the weapons locker. That was his answer. While Karen prepared, Ryan tried to figure out why all this was happening. He opened the data files she had stolen from the last Seeker they killed. Inside, encrypted, logs, mission codes, and a long list of humans. Names, ages, colony locations. Ryan's name was on it, and next to each name was a symbol, a red mark. He didn't understand what it meant, but Karen did. "They marked you for observation," she said, "then elimination." "Why?" "Because they're afraid." "Of what?" She looked him dead in the eyes. "Connection." Karen told him everything that night. Her species, called the Sylvanar, had once been free. Warriors, protectors, dreamers. But they had been taken centuries ago by the Watchers, a shadow group of ancient species who believed emotions were dangerous. Love, loyalty, mercy. Too human, too wild. They took young Sylvanar and turned them into living weapons. They trained them to follow orders. No questions, no feelings. But something went wrong. One of the warriors, Karen, disobeyed, because a human gave her food, gave her kindness, and that one small moment broke the code. "They call me a glitch," she said. "A system error, a corrupted weapon." Ryan leaned back. "You're more than a weapon." She blinked slowly. "I wasn't, until you fed me." He didn't know what to say, but it didn't matter. The moment ended with a sudden alarm. They had been found. The Seekers came fast. 5 ships, black like shadows, surrounded the moon. Ryan jumped to the controls, powering up the engines. Too late. Karen grabbed his arm. "Let me go." "What?" "They want me, not you." He shook his head. "No, I'm not running. Not anymore." Karen stared at him. Then something strange happened. Her skin began to glow faintly, not just silver, now with a pulse of violet light. Ryan backed up. "What's happening to you?" "They built me for war," she said, "but I learned something else. I learned choice." And then she changed. Her body shifted. Her arms grew sharp edges of living metal. Her eyes turned pure white. Her voice echoed deeper. She had unlocked something inside her. A second form. Stay. Here, she said. You are the reason I woke up. If you die, so does everything I became. Before Ryan could speak, she launched herself out of the airlock, straight toward the Seekers. The battle in space was unlike anything Ryan had ever seen. The Seekers were fast, but Karen was faster. She didn't use weapons. She was the weapon. She tore into the first ship, ripping it open with her claws. The second tried to escape. She crashed through its cockpit, tearing out the pilot. They fired everything they had, but she moved like lightning, bending around bullets, dodging missiles. One of the Seeker ships exploded behind her. The shockwave lit up the moon like sunrise. From inside his ship, Ryan stared in awe. She wasn't fighting for survival. She was fighting for him. But even Karen had limits. The final Seeker ship hit her with a high-energy pulse. Her body jerked, in the air, frozen mid-flight. They caught her in a gravity net, dragged her toward their ship. Ryan's ship shook as the Seeker vessel sent a signal to him. A simple message. Surrender, or she dies. His fingers hovered over the controls. He couldn't fight them, but he couldn't let her go. Not again. And then, he made a choice. He turned the ship toward the enemy, and accelerated. Full speed, into danger, into fire, into war. Because this time, he would not let her fight alone. We are not alone. The stars burned cold above him as Ryan floated through black space. His ship was damaged, alarms flashing. Oxygen dropping. Karen was gone, captured by the last Seeker ship. He had chased them, tried to follow. But they vanished, through a jump gate. A kind of portal he'd never seen before. And now he was stranded. Alone. Or so he thought. Hours passed. The ship drifted silently. Ryan tried not to panic. He checked the systems again. Engines offline. Comms dead. Life support. 12% remaining. Great, he whispered. This is how I die. He sat back in the pilot seat and closed his eyes. Then, Hanak? He opened his eyes, frozen. A knock. Again. From outside the airlock. Impossible. No one could be out there. They were in open space. He rushed to the window. At first he saw only darkness. Then, a shape. A ship. Strange. Silver white, with long curved wings. No markings. No lights. And standing at his airlock, a figure. Female. Tall. Glowing softly. Not Karen. Someone else. Before he could react, the figure vanished. Then his systems powered up. His ship suddenly came alive. Engines lit. Air recycled. Oxygen stable. A new signal appeared on the screen. A message. 2 words. Follow me. A blinking symbol. The unknown ship sped away, leaving a trail of light behind. Ryan had no other choice. He followed. Hours later, they reached a hidden place between stars. A structure floated in space, massive and ancient, shaped like a ring made of crystal and steel, wrapped in clouds of glowing dust. The stranger's ship disappeared inside. Ryan's ship was guided in by invisible forces. As he entered, he saw something that took his breath away. Hundreds of ships. All shapes, all designs, human, alien, and something in between, and walking between them, Sylvanar, like Karen, some in armor, some with weapons, some glowing with strange energy, but none of them were fighting, they were training, talking, living. He landed, stepped out slowly, and there, waiting for him, was the figure from earlier. Not Karen, but close. Her face was older, wiser. Her skin a darker silver. Her eyes deep and heavy. You are the one, she said. Ryan raised an eyebrow. Which one? She smiled slightly. The one she chose. Karen? Is she here? The woman shook her head. Not yet, but she will return if she survives. Ryan stepped forward. Who are you people? What is this place? We are the broken, the woman said. Those who refuse to be weapons. We are what the Watchers fear. They led him deeper into the station. He saw children, alien children laughing, running. He saw injured warriors healing in pools of glowing blue light. He saw Sylvanar teaching humans to fight using thought, not just strength. And finally, they brought him to a chamber, tall and quiet. In the center, a giant stone table on it, a map of the galaxy, but parts of it were dark, cut off, blocked. The woman touched the map and spoke. Long ago, our kind served the Watchers. We obeyed. We killed who they told us to kill. We thought it was honor. She looked at him. Then Karen changed everything. She disappeared, broke from the hive mind. No one had done that before. Ryan frowned. She said it was because I gave her food. The woman smiled softly. Kindness is the most dangerous weapon of all. It teaches choice. But then her smile faded. The seekers that took her will not kill her quickly. They will try to break her mind, erase her soul. Ryan's hands tightened into fists. I'm going after her. The woman nodded. Then you must understand what you are walking into. She waved her hand, and the map zoomed in. An enormous structure appeared. The Vault of Silence, a hidden prison where failed Sylvanar are kept and tortured. Minds turned to dust, bodies rebuilt as machines. Karen was there now, but no one had ever escaped. How do I get in? Ryan asked. You don't, the woman said. Then how do we get in? The room went quiet. He looked around at the others. Sylvanar, humans, warriors, outcasts. He raised his voice. They took one of yours. But she fought for me. She saved me more than once. Now she needs us. He looked the elder in the eye. I'm not a soldier. I'm not a hero. But I won't leave her behind. Slowly, one by one, warriors began to stand. A human mercenary stepped forward. A Sylvanar with glowing arms followed. A silent engineer raised his hand. The elder woman looked around. Then she smiled. Then let the Watchers hear our answer. Later that night, Ryan sat alone in the silent room. On the table before him lay Karen's old weapon, something she left behind long ago. A blade forged from living metal. As he picked it up, it wrapped around his hand like it remembered him, and for the first time, he didn't feel small. He felt ready. He was no longer just a human who helped an alien girl. He was the reason an army was rising. Because now, he knew the truth. He was not alone, and neither was she. The betrayal the night before, the mission. Silence ruled the rebel base. Ships were fueled, weapons checked, coordinates locked. They were going to break into the Vault of Silence, a place no one had ever escaped, and no one had ever returned from. But something was wrong. Ryan felt it first. He stood in the war room, staring at the glowing map. Karen's location had been confirmed. A secure sector buried deep inside the prison moon, surrounded by bioweapons, mind-warping fields, and seeker elites, the deadliest of the Watchers' creations. They had a plan, a good one, but his gut whispered, "This won't go the way you think, Hiao." Turned to Arya, the rebel tech officer. She was human. Young, sharp, fast with code. She had been helping decode the seeker systems for days. You double-checked the vault entry path? Ryan asked. Arya nodded, not meeting his eyes. Yeah, it's solid. But her voice was different, dry, forced. He couldn't explain it. Just a feeling. He let it go. Too many things were happening. He had to stay focused. Across the galaxy, Karen was still alive, barely. She lay chained inside a cold white chamber floating midair, her body wrapped in glowing wires, her skin pale, her mind fractured. Voices whispered in her head. Old voices, Watcher voices, telling her, "You are a weapon. You do not choose. He is not yours. He made you weak." At first, she resisted. She screamed. She thrashed. She broke the chains, but every time they rebuilt them, they weren't trying to kill her. They were trying to erase her, not her body, her soul, her memory of Ryan, her memory of kindness, and it was working. Bits of her began to forget. What was his name? Why had he helped her? Why did it matter? But then, one image always came back. Him offering her food, not asking for anything. That moment refused to die, so neither would she. Back at the rebel base, the fleet launched. 8 ships. Dozens of warriors, Ryan at the lead. Arya by his side in the control room guiding him through the Seeker defenses. The approach to the vault was smoother than expected. Too smooth. No resistance yet, Arya said over the comms. You're clear. Ryan narrowed his eyes. That's not possible. I hacked their blind spots, she said, but Ryan's hands trembled, because just then, the power in his ship flickered, then returned. He looked up. Arya's face was calm. Calm. They breached the vault wall. Karen's location was just ahead. The Sylvanar warriors spread out, clearing rooms. And then, the trap sprung. Blinding lights. Screams over the comms. One ship exploded from the inside. An ambush. Ryan turned, furious. Arya, you said it was clear. Silence. He looked at her. She stared back, emotionless. Then, she pulled a Seeker device from her jacket and slammed it into the console. Every system shut down. Arya smiled. They promised me peace. No more running. No more war. You sold us out, Ryan whispered. I sold her out, she said coldly. Karen is a virus. They just want her erased. You're a side effect. She drew a gun. But before she could fire, the ship shook violently. The wall ripped open. Karen stepped through. Burned. Broken. But alive. And angry. She looked at Arya. No words. Just one blast of pure force from her hand. Arya was thrown across the room, unconscious. Then Karen turned to Ryan. Her eyes flickered, white and silver. Her face full of pain. They tried to take you from me. He ran to her, catching her as she collapsed. Her body trembled. They're in my head, she whispered. They're still trying. You're safe now, Ryan said. No, she breathed. Not yet. Then her voice deepened, changing. They're coming. Outside, dozens of Seeker ships dropped from hyperspace. They had known the attack would come because of Arya, and now they had Ryan, Karen, and all the rebels in one place. The Watchers were ready to erase them all, but Karen stood again. Barely. Broken. Burning. With energy, she looked around at the others. They want me, she said, then let them come. And for the first time, she smiled. The final battle hadn't begun yet, but the fire had been lit. And Ryan knew, even if they lost tomorrow, Karen would make sure the Watchers remembered her name, and the human who fed her once and made her more than a weapon. Dragon reborn. The sky above the prison moon was no longer dark. It was fire. Watcher ships blotted out the stars, moving like black clouds. Seekers in thousands, cold, perfect, emotionless. The vault of silence shook under the weight of war. The rebels were outnumbered, cornered, dying. Karen stood in the middle of the chaos, barely breathing. Her body was cracked. Her skin burned silver red. Her voice, silent. She had protected Ryan from the last Seeker blast, throwing herself between him and the death shot. Now she was on her knees, surrounded by ash and metal. Ryan held her in his arms, blood on his hands, the world crumbling around them. Stay with me, he whispered. She opened her eyes. You should have run, she said weakly. Never, he said. Tears burned behind his eyes, but he didn't let them fall. Not yet. Minutes before, everything had gone wrong. The rebels pushed into the inner vault. The traitor Arya was gone, taken by the Seekers or worse. The map was a lie. It wasn't a prison. It was a factory. A place where broken Sylvanar were rebuilt into monsters. Karen saw them. Dozens of her own kind. Turned into machines. Minds erased. Faces blank. They didn't recognize her, they just obeyed. She had whispered only one word to them: "Stop." And for a second they hesitated because deep inside something still remembered. But the Watchers didn't allow hesitation. They activated the override, and the war began. Back in the now, Ryan heard the vault doors break open again. More Seekers entered, tall, silent, soulless. One stepped forward. Larger than the rest, its voice echoed through the chamber. "Unit Karen is declared corrupted. Final deletion required." Ryan stood in front of her. "You'll have to go through me." The Seeker paused. "Unnecessary. Human is not target." "Doesn't matter," Ryan said. "She's not just a target, she's not a weapon. She's—" He stopped, because behind him Karen stood again. Slowly, rising like something ancient. Her body glowed. But this time, not silver. Gold. The Watchers had tried to erase her. They had tried to burn out her memories. But they had done something else instead. They awakened something older. Deep inside her DNA, buried in every Sylvanar, was a locked part of history. A forgotten evolution. The true form of her people. The dragon form, and Ryan's kindness, had triggered it. She opened her eyes fully. Wings of light unfolded from her back. Her voice now echoed with thunder. "I remember everything." The Seekers charged. Karen didn't move. They shattered before they touched her. Her body pulsed with energy, waves of memory, pain, fire, and freedom. She reached out, and the corrupted Sylvanar, her twisted brothers and sisters, stopped moving. Her power touched their minds, their pain, their lost names. One by one they fell to their knees. Not dead. Free. She was no longer a soldier, not a guardian, not even a rebel. She was the spark, the beginning of the end. Outside, the Watcher fleet prepared its final strike, a weapon powered by stolen Sylvanar souls. One blast to wipe the moon clean. But Ryan stepped forward, placing a hand on Karen's arm. "They're aiming at us," he said. "I know," she whispered. "We can't survive that." "No," she said. "But maybe we don't have to." He frowned. "What do you mean?" She turned to him. "Your kindness woke me, made me feel again, gave me a soul." She stepped closer. "Now let me give you something back." He shook his head. "No, don't leave me." But her body was already glowing too brightly to touch. "You gave me life," she said. "Now I give you a future." Karen rose into the sky, higher, faster, brighter. The Watcher weapon locked onto her. She didn't run. She flew straight into it, and then she detonated, not in fire, but in light. A golden wave spread across the sky. The Watcher ships powered down, their controls fried, their weapons silenced, and across the galaxy, every enslaved Sylvanar woke up. They remembered, they felt, they became free. Ryan fell to his knees, watching the sky, empty, silent, but not broken. She was gone. But what she left behind was everything. Weeks later, the galaxy changed. The Watchers disappeared. Their network failed. The Sylvanar formed a new alliance. With humans. No more slaves. No more soldiers. Ryan was offered power. Leadership. He said no. He chose to travel. From world to world, telling a story. About a girl with silver skin. A girl who had been called a weapon, but who died a dragon, and who taught the galaxy that the smallest kindness can change the fate of stars. The echo of her light, the galaxy was healing. The Watchers were gone, the Sylvanar were free. Humanity was safe, and Chiron was dead. Or so the universe believed. Ryan drifted across the stars in an old scout ship, a quiet vessel with no weapons and no destination. People called him the Dragon's Witness now. Some treated him like a hero. Some treated him like a myth. He didn't care. He didn't want medals. He wanted her back. And every night when the stars were quiet, he still heard her voice, soft, echoing in memory. Your kindness gave me a soul. He kept her blade near his bed, even though it had been cold since the day she died. Until one night, it wasn't. He woke up to a sound, a low hum, soft but pulsing. He looked around. His ship's systems were dark, except one, the blade. It was glowing gently. He touched it. A whisper filled the air. Not from speakers. Not from inside. From within the blade. His heart stopped. It was her voice. Ryan. In a panic, he ran to the console and scanned the blade. It was alive. Not in metal. In memory. Karen's energy signature, her consciousness, was inside it. Fragmented. Trapped. Still. Fading, but not gone. He stared at the data. This wasn't a glitch. It was her. But how? She had burned herself out stopping the Watcher weapon. She should have been dust. But the Sylvanar had evolved from energy long ago. And Ryan had forgotten. Dragons never truly die. They become light. There was a chance. A small one. An ancient. Sylvanar temple was hidden in deep space. The Forge of Remembering. A place once used to restore broken warriors, to rebuild minds from fragments. If he could get there in time, he might bring her back. But he wasn't the only one chasing that light. Others had felt the signal. Remnants of the Watchers. Not just machines, their creators. Ancient beings who had stayed hidden. Watchers were never the top. They were servants, and their masters had just awakened. They had watched their creations fall. They had seen Karen become something they could not control. Now, they wanted what was left of her. To study, to control, or to erase. Forever. And they were already coming. Ryan raced through forbidden sectors. Black space, dark zones, haunted ruins of old alien empires. The blade glowed brighter with each passing light year. But the closer he got, the more he began to feel her. Not just in memory, in emotion. She was afraid, alone, and calling out to only one person. Him. The Forge of Remembering appeared like a dream at the edge of space. A hollow planet, cracked like a skull, floating between gravity storms. Ryan's ship barely survived the descent. Inside, ancient machines, silent guardians, and the faint sound of voices from before time. He placed the blade in the core. The forge awakened. Light filled the room. Karen's image flickered above him, broken, distorted. Ryan, why did you come? He stepped forward, choking back tears. Because I made a promise. Her voice trembled. I'm not whole. I'm not strong. You're enough, he said. They're coming, she warned. Then let them come. But, as the forge powered up, a presence arrived. A ship. No, not a ship. A being. Larger than anything Ryan had seen. A living mind. Older than the Watchers, shaped like a serpent made of black stars. Its voice cracked the air without speaking. Return. The weapon to us. You do not understand what she truly is? Ryan looked up, faced the dark god and said, She's not a weapon. Not anymore. He turned back to the forge, held the blade, and whispered, Come back. And as the stars broke around him, the dragon opened her eyes.